Hey, brothers and sisters. I just wanted to share with you, as I was coming back from a supply run, there was a song on Life 100.3, and it was, "There is only one God, there is only one Jesus." And it just brought to mind a conversation that I had had with a family member that's close to me that I've been trying to explain how I know and how to explain that there is evidence that God is real. And I'm sure we all have people in our life that, we kind of go through cycles of trying to help them understand, but also not getting in like debates, but also helping them to understand. But then sometimes we need to take those breaks from helping them to understand, because at the end of the day, it is a journey for them and is for them to discover and to seek on their own, right? Like, we can show them the way, but we cannot open the door for them. So I was having this conversation with this loved one. And of course, after the fact, all these great ideas. Oh, well, what about this? And of course there's this. And, I was thinking about that song, "There's only one God, there is only one Jesus." And my family member had brought up the point that, what about other gods? Other people say that there's lots of gods. And, how do I respond to that? So it brings up to mind, my husband and I are working on a project in the basement. And we're taking these pieces of wood and we're kind of staining them. We're doing a 2-step process where we have to paint them in 2 steps. Now, we want there to be a differential. We don't want them all to look exactly the same. But I started doing it. And my husband says, well, I'm going to just let you continue doing it, because if I do it, you'll be able to tell the difference that someone else has done it. It'll be maybe a bit imperceptible, but there will be evidence that someone else has taken over or has done pieces. If you're a crocheter or a knitter, if you start a project, you cannot hand it off to someone else, because even though you're following the same pattern, even though you're following the same instructions, using the same wool and the same tools, there's going to be perceptible differences. Now, if you look at nature, which is God's creation, and you look at our DNA, you look at the animal kingdom and you look at the DNA, you look at how nature interplays with each other, you see evidence that there has been one creator that has touched all of creation, the heavens, the earth, the waters, the universe, the stars, how everything perfectly just is a symphony together. So really, the concept or the theory that there's more than one God really does not play out scientifically if you look at the evidence. I mean, if you are an art buff, people a lot of times can fake a Mona Lisa. They can recreate another Mona Lisa, but that doesn't mean that you cannot tell that, or that you cannot tell that it was not the original designer. It was not the original creator. So I hope I'm getting my point across, that there is evidence in science and nature and everything around us that there is one creator. Now, not everyone is willing to accept this, because in my conversation with my family member, he said, oh, there's no such thing as miracles. And this guy, he said he saw a leg grow back. And if I ever saw a leg grow back, well, then I'd believe. And I said, but here's a great case of a woman who was like healed of MS. Well, it's not healed. She just had remission. And it's not really a miracle, because I'm sure science can figure it out. They just haven't figured it out yet. Like, this is a circle. Sarah, just pray that God changes his heart, because at the end of the day, all I can do is shine my light and love people where they are at, and just trust and know that God is good, and he will walk with them and help them to understand, just like he did with me, just like he did with all of you. And his timing is perfect. And I just have faith that God is going to move and save lots of people, and everything that we're going through at all the time, but especially during this time, will be leveraged for the kingdom. And his word says, like, you know, do not fear, be courageous. So in this time, I encourage you, brothers and sisters, do not fear and be courageous.